Welcome to Talking with ILM Practitioner, volume number 14. Yay! Welcome. For those who are meeting for the first time, my name is Sahara and I am ILM Method Practitioner based in Toronto, Canada, offering one-on-one treatment sessions and also at the moment online movement classes. And today we have a special guest, Ady. Hi, Olga. Thank you for joining. So we have a special guest, Ady. I realize I don't know how to say his last name. Elzam, is that right? Am I saying this correctly? You can let me know when you join. He's an active member and practitioner in the community, and I really had was so lucky that I was able to spend more than few times in an intensive situation where he was part of the team. When I took my advanced course as a student, and also when I was joining the team for helping the basic course, I was able to learn a lot from him. So I'm really excited that he can join, and I'm just going to invite him immediately. I am inviting you, Ady. Are you there? And actually, in preparation to making this live, I was looking for emoji. You probably see the emoji, I was hoping to find a pirate one, and I realized I couldn't find it. And in my if I was to give him a nickname, I wanted to do like Master of Pirate Smile or something like that, which I think he does beautifully. And I am inviting you. Can you come in? ILM The Hague. Yes, he's based in the Netherlands, in The Hague, Den Haag. Unable to join. What? What's going on? Yeah, it's so nice that we have so many beautiful people in our community that I just realized that I don't know so many detailed stories of themselves until and that was one of the reason I started to do the series. And I often meet people within a course or learning situation where we are really digging in and to the materials, and it's so nice to get to meet outside. Yay! Wave. There you are. Oh, I see. I'm going to request. Yes, invite to join. There you are. Maybe I got prepared so quickly. Can you come on? Are you able to join? Ady, you're saying you're unable to join. Hi, Sal. Oh, maybe. Okay, let me try again. I think maybe because you have requested and maybe Instagram got confused. We are confusing its system. We need some octopus network to join. Are you able to join? Wow, it's so funny with this connection. We just did the tech run not so long ago, and we were able to connect so smoothly. I was so happy about it. What's happening? Yeah. Interesting. Somehow saying unable to join. Okay, I'm gonna take your request if that's okay, Adi. I'm gonna say accept.
It
Ah,
worked. Yay! It
yay! You're
took,
still in the dark, but
yes, it took a hot moment, but we made it.
yes. Hi, hi, hi.
Hi, hi, hi.
This is Adi, finally.
Yay! It worked.
Wow, every time this connects, I always feel like this is like the best moment. It's like,
Yeah.
oh wow, magic.
So I think I missed in the beginning. You said something about me already, you or not? I didn't see. I kind of saw, but I came in and I came out, so I missed the beginning.
Well, I not really actually. I just mentioned that when I was preparing for this the interview, I or live, I was wanting to find a pirates emoji
Uh-huh.
because I think of you as a master of
Yeah,
pirate smile. And I could not find the pirates emoji, and I'm like, why? Like, why don't we have pirates emoji and still have like a mate drink
yeah,
emoji?
yeah. That's interesting.
So yeah, interesting.
We should complain to the emoji masters.
Exactly. The pirate is like essential.
Yeah.
But yeah, just for those who are listening who don't know what's behind this, I really owe it to you, by the way, for this class that you teach, the movement class. It's one of those one of the class that focuses on breathing, and somehow every time we were in a course together, Adi was leading, like you were leading every time.
Really?
Um, yeah, I think at least maybe at the end of the online basic course, and also maybe an advanced course too. And I don't know where else, but I just remember
Movement teacher
it was you.
training.
Oh yeah, movement teacher training
Yeah.
for sure too. And yeah, to be very, I think I shared this with you already, but this was my least favorite class out of all
Yeah.
the classes. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, and I enjoy your class, but I was like, no, please, like, get me out. Um, but you were so excited about it, and
Yeah.
just your excitement, maybe not the first time, but like second class time I took this particular class, yeah, it translated, and now I'm like, yeah, this class is really fun, but I don't know if I would have gotten there without your excitement. And yeah, one of the image for this class is pirate smile, or so. Yeah. So thank you for making
You're
me.
welcome. You're welcome. I really like this image because Ilan used to say in the classes all the time how to tear the smile on one side and tear the smile on the other side. And I remember when I started teaching, seeing a lot of people smile like this. So I said,
Uh,
like, okay, you gotta expose the teeth a little bit, but also
mm-hmm.
it went a bit like this. So I
uh,
thought that the pirate is really this kind of image of this kind of and it really opens.
yeah, you can be a pirate in any scene, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. I've found over the years that images that are funny, they really help loosen up the the atmosphere. Like for example, on Monday I was teaching Contact in Pro class, and it was the first class out of a series of classes that I will be giving now. And also we started just moving around on the floor and being very kind of relaxed and trying to drop the weight and all the codes that we know from Ilan. And I wanted to add a little something a bit wow. So suddenly I had this image of a wet dog shaking.
Uh-huh.
It's a very clear image, and made everybody laugh. And suddenly everybody, because I was saying, try to move your body a bit, try to shake it, but it wasn't really getting. When an image like that, and it's funny, and it's kind of weird, and suddenly everybody was doing this kind of thing, and it got really funny, and really the atmosphere of the whole class became really light immediately. So similarly with the pirate, it's something that kind of breaks the seriousness.
Yeah.
And allows, yeah, this kind of playfulness to come in.
Right. Now I feel like I stole like getting into the story, a little bit of the introduction for you, but
Okay.
so please like introduce yourself for like who you are, what you do.
Okay. So I'm Ady Elzam. I was introduced to Ilan about 15 years ago, something like that. I was dancing in a dance company, and I had a shoulder injury, which was probably a light tear of the acromion-clavicular joint. There was a little distance there inside the joint, not a full tear even, but it was bothering me, and I couldn't take my hand above my head. It was painful, and there was mostly a lot of tension around. Um, and I wanted to find a way out of it, basically.
Wow.
I went to doctors, and the doctors told me, we can offer you to replace the joint. And I thought, well, I'm not going to at the age of 27 replace my joint. And the doctor said, yeah, probably you're right. When you're older, maybe you will have to replace the joint. That was his approach. And I realized, okay, this approach is really not for me. And then I got to first Yuval Goldstein, and after that Yaniv Mintzel. And I started having sessions, and through Yaniv I also got to Nimrod, and I remember the session of that Nimrod worked on my pelvis and opened up something in my lower back, and after that the pain in my shoulder was gone. I mean, it was already much better throughout the time that I was getting treatments with all three of them. But I remember the session that he did something in the pelvis, and after that, it was gone. And I suddenly also discovered much more space in my neck. I remember going out of the session and discovering that there is a space around here that I haven't been looking at. Like somehow my vision was stopping here, and I suddenly had the openness of the neck. So I was really intrigued by that. And there was a course opening up with Ilan. It was course number 5. And I heard about a lot of dancers that were also doing it. So I said, okay, I want to do the course to enrich my movement vocabulary. I didn't think about becoming a practitioner. It wasn't my goal. I wanted to enrich myself. And as an enriching experience, the course is amazing. I would recommend it to anybody, really anybody. You don't need to become a practitioner. Just going through the course is incredible.
Right.
And then,
What kind of
yeah,
sorry, what kind of dancing did you do at the time, or because I know you also do contact improv. Like, was it parallel to, or is it?
yeah, I was dancing just like kind of contemporary dance. I, I had a short moment with Vertigo Dance Company, and then I was dancing in what was called Dede Dance. There was a small company in Tel Aviv.
And
Yeah.
and what made you go into dance?
What,
Like,
what
was
made me go into
it
dance?
initial?
Well, when I was
What
about five
initial?
years old, when I was about 5 years old, I was looking at Michael Jackson in the television. And I was very hyperactive kid, so I would see that and I would stand and start doing the movements kind of like him. Uh, and I think I got some attention from that. Like my family were all like, "Wow, yeah, yeah, no." So it made me go like, "Oh, this is something that people like that I'm doing, and I like doing it." And later on, I realized that I was very, very hyperactive, and dancing calmed me down. So basically, being in the body. Later on, I realized that it's this. A practice of the body calms my nervous system down. The tendency in my system through genes or history of my family, I don't know exactly what brings it, but makes me a bit constantly moving. Constantly, I need to be moving. And when I'm not, then I go up here and then I'm thinking and then I'm stuck. So I realized through the years that I've been dancing and practicing and working with the body and doing anything body related. So I never studied anything. I barely finished school. I didn't do any of the exams. I never went to university. I was only moving and dancing and working with the body. Uh, and it was also very clear to me that this is what I need to do. And really throughout the years, that was the conclusion, that I really needed it. It's a therapy for me still to connect myself back to the body.
Wow.
I started telling you about this before. I've been realizing that I don't have a bank of information stored. Maybe it's stored somewhere, but I cannot quote you anything to say that this is what I learned, that this is true, and this is like this. There are modalities that I can explain, but in a moment where a question comes from a patient about what's happening in the body or why, for example, this morning there was a question. Why was it that happiness and sadness came both together at the end of the session? And I didn't know exactly, so I had to think about it for a moment. I was feeling my body, and I had the sensation in my body was kind of giving me the answer. And I had the feeling this, you gotta swing the pendulum between the two. And when you swing the pendulum between the two, then that means that it's free, it's moving. If it's stuck on the happiness side, then you're stuck there, and you might be hitting the sadness that the pendulum doesn't want to go, and then you get discomfort, pain, and certain things. The other way around, the same. If you're stuck in sadness, grief, or anything from this side, you still get stuck, and you are in that. When you let the pendulum swing, you might feel at first that you're happy and sad at the same time. It is very overwhelming. It's all of the emotions are coming, and this was at the end of a session. But it made a lot of sense, because then it's open and it's free and it's moving.
Right. Wow.
So that's just an example of there was not that knowledge was not there before. Not that necessarily I would say that this is absolutely true, but in that moment I was feeling in my body, and that was the answer.
Oh, I think you're a little bit stuck. Oh, now you're moving again. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go. Go. Well, like I can now totally, like, the fact that you were into Michael Jackson somehow clarify a lot of my, because I, like, in preparation I was like, oh yeah, like, I was like, I know Ady does also a contact improv, and he also teaches, he dances, he's a father, like he does climbing, he does play clarinet. Like I was like, wow, I don't know what is part of the main and what is part of the or like I find like you're one of the And I feel this commonly within the practitioners, but like a really curious person, like and like what you play full all
Yeah,
the time.
I fully play. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of the only thing that I've learned to do over the years is to play.
Mm.
I have no other skills, really. No other
That's
skills.
not true. That's not
I just
true.
play.
But so like you enter the basic course and like what because out of all these things like you've had a career in a company with a dance company and what kind of made you driven to go into the treating as your path because I think it's like you mentioned of entering the basic courses like you entered with your own curiosity to within your the search
Yeah.
for the movement and what was the shift for you when you decided to spend more time I guess doing the treatments.
I think that because I came in really through my own curiosity and was not trying to become a practitioner, um, that Elon really liked that in me
Mhm.
for some reason. And at the end of the course, he told me that there is a treatment table in the north. Uh, we were studying in Tel Aviv, and I was living in Tel Aviv. And he said, in the north of Israel, there is the Kibbutzit Dance Company,
Mhm.
and we have there a treatment table, and uh,
Ah,
and people are waiting, and we were looking for someone that would go. And I said, okay, I can do it. And he said, okay, we will organize it for you. There was somebody in the kibbutz organizing 2 full days, seven,
wow.
7 or 8 people in a row. I would go, and I had to bring my chair, only my chair and my roll, and I would go, and I would have sessions, and I would stay to sleep the night there close by at my parents' house, and I would go again the next day, and I would do sessions, and I would go back to Tel Aviv. So
Wow. And
straight out of the course, straight out of the course, I had 2 full days. Yeah,
what was that like?
it was amazing because I had to do all the things that I learned, and it was a mix between dancers from the company and dancers from the workshop, and also people from the kibbutz. So the dancers from the company and the workshop were, movement people, and their bodies are open, and I could do all the modalities with the little limitations that everybody has. And then I had the kibbutz people, which was sometimes. I remember once I had 80-year-old woman that can't take her hands above her shoulders. So the hand would go there and then would go stuck, just doesn't move, which at that point I never met that kind of body before. So that really threw me into learning about the tension that creates a situation like this, and how do I as a practitioner approach that, because I can't force it. It's also against what we learn. So I had to really trust Ilan's words and say, okay, I put my hands there and I see if I reduce, does it open? And what kind of playfulness can I invite there? And how can I invite other areas of the body to participate? And even before all of this was formulated in my mind like it is now, I was just there, curious and playful. And
Mm.
and uh, and it worked out great. I did it for, I think, did it for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I did it for 3 years while still coming back to the courses. So the course after me and course 6 and 7, uh, uh, I came back as translator.
Ah, wow, really?
Yeah. So I was sitting there translating. Um, I think it was Emma's course, maybe Annie's course also.
Ah.
Yeah, there were a few people that I was just sitting there and translating to English. This was before I knew that I would be living in Europe and using English as my as my main communication language in the method. Somehow it all kind of worked out together, you know? Yeah. And then at course 8, Ilan invited me to be an assistant, and and then after that course I went traveling, and I kind of took a break from the organization. I was still giving treatments as I was traveling, but I wasn't stationed in one place, and that took me on a journey of a few years until I arrived back in Brussels, and I started
Ah.
giving treatments more more regularly again. And then Yaniv invited me again to be an assistant with the basic course.
And in Brussels, because I feel um, like was it when you then first started to have your own clinic as a like a main of what you do, or already like before you were having more of a regular practice in parallel to everything else you were doing
Well, I had the regular practice right off
at the kibbutz?
yeah, like I did in the kibbutz, right off the course.
Mm.
And after that, I had also in Tel Aviv, and I had a little bit in the kibbutz of my parents, some small practice where I had like maybe 5 people a week or something like this. But then when I arrived to Brussels, I was focused on dance first, and then I started more and more to bring patients because people were asking.
Mm.
Um, and then it grew, and now I moved to The Hague 2 years ago, and I'm fully in the practice.
Right.
Yeah,
Which is lucky for those who are in the Netherlands.
yeah. For me also, it's a lot of fun. I'm learning so much all the time.
And I'm curious, like, did it feel that the like kind of because I feel like you juggle time so well of you not giving up of all the other plays as well as the ILM method, but uh, did it ever feel like a compromise in any way, or did the juggling ever became challenging to you between dance things that you were doing in life?
I think I always saw what I do as part of the movement world.
Mm.
Always saw it as part of the movement world. I was still really dancing a lot until COVID, and COVID put a big damp in that because my main thing was to teach a lot, and I was also working on my own project, but it was all kind of stopped in 2020 because of that. Um, and after that, I really put more focus into treatments, also because the family started expanding. So yeah, during COVID, then Manu and me decided we're gonna go for the first child, and now we're waiting for number 3 and 4 to come together. So now it's just the family kind of took its own direction, and I'm part of that. And yeah, I might go back into fully dancing. I'm not putting it completely behind me yet. There were moments where I was questioning if my identity in that department has shifted and changed. Uh, but I feel it hasn't, because every time I find myself moving, I understand that it's my lifelong journey. And if I do it right now more as a way to help people understand their body and their relationship with their body, then that's what I do. I don't need to be on stage in order to feel that I'm in my practice.
And with all the curiosity, were you exposed or consider other method of like body works, or that ever crossed like your mind, or was it always ILM that kind of fulfilled?
I think my curiosity actually started with Feldenkrais. Uh, when I was studying in the workshop of Vertigo, we did Feldenkrais classes every week. And I remember a few things that were really very, very impactful for me. At first, just putting my head on the floor and letting it roll from side to side, I didn't really understand that because I was told to roll, so I kind of held my head and just kind of rolled it on its own axis. So I didn't really know how to feel the floor and let the head fall from side to side. Similarly, just lying on the back and having one knee up and pushing the floor behind me and letting that movement kind of travel through the body was mind blowing. And I've been dancing all my life, but uh, I did not understand that kind of listening inside the body. And then Ilan came, and that was a game changer. A game changer. My body was moving completely different than before. So I never had a need to do any other kind of practice. I mean, I did do yoga during the years, and I'm still having my dance practice, but I didn't feel a need to learn another modality of healing. Um, I would actually want to go deeper and deeper into what Elon has to offer, because through the years, I've done the basic course now 6 times.
That's
and I learn things every time. Going as a coach, going as an assistant, going as a teacher. Um, I'm learning new and new layers all the time. So yeah, I'm happy to continue deepening into that very much.
This will like be, it might be so hard to remember or not, I'm not sure, but do you have a recall of like one of the big like, what is this, what, like something new that you experienced in your own, like the very first the basic course?
Mm. In the basic course, uh, I do remember a moment where I understood that if I put my hands on someone and I drop the tension in my body and I wait, at one point the body starts to move. And I realized the difference between putting my hand and trying to move them when they are tense, then putting my hands, dropping the tension in my body, and then suddenly that body starts to open up. Basically, the tension reduces, and so movement starts, or let's say movement continues where it stopped before. Um, and until to this day, it's something that I come back to all the time. Yeah, if there's a tense body, I put my hands, or even not a tense body, just any body, I put my hands, I first drop. And I remember Elon saying, drop your own tension, drop your own tension, drop your own tension. So that kind of echoes in me through the last 15 years that I'm in the practice.
Oh, beautiful. And was there do you have a collection of what was like a big challenge or something that felt, yeah, challenging?
Hmm, that's a good.
And how did that resolve over the years?
Um, I think for me the challenge is in moments where the body feels a bit stiff. My body feels a bit stiff, and I don't seem to find the way in, which happens to me sometimes. Uh, which is just another reminder to go back to simplicity, because uh, if I simplify and simplify and simplify, the body opens. Um, but it has been a bit challenging to find the practice when the body is stiff, which kind of happens. Um, but I didn't have any moments that were, yeah, that were a big challenge in the course or in the method. I really follow it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I just remember and I have like maybe every 2 year cycle or something of like having this big question of like, is this a lean? Like, am I leaning? Is this a
Uh-huh.
lean? And I get, and I remember, I think it was a first module for sure, and then the third module came, and I'm like, because the second module, I felt like the information from the first module really translated, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm understanding something, and I'm getting it. And then third module came, and I'm like, I don't know lean all over again. I don't know anything.
Mm.
And I remember like, yeah, often like once in a while I come back to, I'm like, I don't know if I'm leaning. I
Yeah.
don't know. And I love that the question of the challenge I had at the beginning keep coming back in a of course different way in different layers, but
Yeah. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. I felt, I was just actually thinking about it today in a session.
ah,
I felt in the beginning that I had a very uh, specific way of going through the practice.
mhm,
I think that maybe that's how kind of how my mind works. Um, I think that things are a certain way, and I need to do them a certain way. So I was doing first the modules the way that we learned them, but I was doing them in a specific way. I was okay now this thing and now this is very methodic.
mhm,
Um, and as I was evolving in my improvisation practice, and maybe that's why I was searching in my improvisation practice, and throughout the years with Ilan, I've been constantly breaking what I know and questioning what I know and how I'm used to doing things.
mhm,
Uh, and really, at first, I had a specific way of going through the practice. Then I kind of broke that, but then somehow it happened again that I had a different specific way of going through the the modules and breaking them in a way, kind of breaking them, but always in the same kind of way. Um, and then that also had to break and evolve. And today I realized that I had to do what I used to do in the beginning, which for me was the holiest of the holies, to put the hands on and to reduce and let it happen. I kind of had to do that in the moment it came up. But then I realized, okay, that was the practice that I did then. Now is the moment where it's serving me. So I'm letting it serve me. And once that opens up, then the next thing comes in. And then um, if I allow myself to go through that enough and go into the unknowing and the not knowing enough, then I start to discover. I start to really discover uh, parts of the modules that are there, but nobody taught them to me. But they're there.
mhm.
They are there.
Yeah.
possibilities exist, and sometimes I would show it to other practitioners and they would say, oh yeah, of course. You know? So I also know that I'm not inventing anything or discovering something new. Just bringing maybe another color, another flavor. One of the things that I like working with Yaniv a lot is now in the last basic course that he would do something and I know it differently. So I would ask him what he thinks about it, and he would say, "Hey, show that also." So we would show that, and there would be suddenly two flavors for the, you know, for that same part of the module. And one time even Tamar was there, and then Tamar was doing also something a little bit different. So then suddenly you have three flavors, and they're all right.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting in this practice like this.
Yes. Yeah. And it's quite reassuring to like hear like more experienced practitioner like you mentioning of this like continuing evolving, like
Yeah.
rediscovering, going back, changing, like all this process happens to everybody because I remember at first I'm like, well, I'll be very specific, like third module, let's say, I was like, I thought I knew how to lean. Where did it go? Like
Mm. Mm.
it's like, where did my leaning go? And I remember messaging to my mentor, Igal, and I was saying to him, like, I feel like Alice in Wonderland, searching for leaning. And I remember him texted me back saying, well, she fell and the story began. And I'm like, wow, my
Nice.
story began.
Nice.
But it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes of losing things suddenly of what you thought were so sure of and clear and suddenly not having it clear. And
Mm.
do you feel like the more you experience that it becomes easier and easier, which I feel like that's already happening for me, but um,
Uh, I feel like I'm becoming more comfortable with not knowing.
right,
I'm
right,
becoming more comfortable with not knowing. And this thought about if something is clear, then change it.
right.
Because that is known already. Because
Yeah,
that is known, and that will serve in the moment that it needs to serve. But moments of not knowing, especially in sessions, just uh, uh, putting my hands there and saying, "Well, I don't know. I don't know what to do for this shoulder now to drop. It's holding. I've leaned from this direction. I've leaned from that direction. I've tried moving on. I tried coming back. I tried dropping it and coming back in another session, and still it's holding.
right.
And I don't know what to do, and I really don't know what to do. So I put my hands there and I let myself not know. And learning happens when we don't know, because
Right.
when we know, we are repeating, and repetition has its own benefit. But not knowing is allowing more information to come in, new information to come in. So I really am becoming more and more comfortable with being uncomfortable in that moment. Because
Do you think
this person is coming, which what I think is an expectation, but then that thought in me is blocking my possibility to not know. So I have to really allow myself to feel uncomfortable in that.
right, right. Oh, so beautiful. And do you feel like I'm curious how because with all your other like you mentioned a little bit of how the ILM practice kind of translate to teaching the content and teaching the improv and or for your own practice. Do you find that with other things too that influence from one or the other with climbing, playing music with your
Yes,
family, food, I
de-
don't know.
definitely. Everything I do with the kids is completely influenced by Ilan Lev. Uh, I was even a few years ago sitting in the city hall while the clerk there was saying that we cannot something with my registration they didn't find, and we needed to declare Zeva as being a baby, and they had a problem, and they were there being stressed and almost telling us that we have to go because they can't do what we need to do, and we needed it to be done in that moment because we needed to get some paper so we can go and get a passport for Zeva. And they were stressed, and we were I was feeling it, and Manu was feeling it, and I said, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Uh, so I planted my feet on the ground, and I started transferring weight from foot to foot, and I smiled, and I smiled, and I just went really just like this, and I smiled, and I said, shh, and I breathed, and I allow this kind of, okay, the heavy energy, let's let this heavy energy pass. And I believe that that in some way influenced the situation because they at one point started to calm down from their stress, and and suddenly also the answer arrived. There was something just written wrong, so I could see it in that moment. Just say, "Oh, this," and I said it with a smile, and they said, "Oh, okay," and and it was done. And it was
Wow.
really, I felt that that was the change. That was the change. I went into the dropping tension in my body, and that field expanded enough that tensions could be dropped through that. And it's kind of like when we connect to gravity, everything and everybody that's not connected to gravity is finding a way into that. It's like we become like a hole, like a black hole, and we
Mm.
have the portal underneath us. We're creating that portal, that everything that is intention can be sucked into that portal and down into gravity. It feeds the earth. Everybody's happy. It drops all the tensions that are there, and reality is just lighter after that.
Right. Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wow. Wow, I can totally, I feel like, yes, that will be a perfect place to practice now whenever I go into this government like
Yeah.
paper document.
Exactly. Yes. To bring it the Ilan Lev way. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think any of the, I mean, immigrants, so anybody who has gone through the paperwork can fully relate. Just
Yes. 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 Any bureaucracy problems you can solve with Ilan Lev.
Well, I never thought about this. I'm not only gonna think about this now.
Good. Great.
Wow. Thank you.
Sure.
And now, I want to also ask, like, what are you at the moment? Like, is there anything that you feel, like you're savoring, like what you're excited about, what you're playing with,
Mm.
in particular, you climbing, or is it something else, the playing, or even within the method, the idea?
I am just spending a lot of time with the girls right now. A lot of time with the girls, a lot of time with Manu with the pregnancy. So where my energy is at. I'm trying to stay as connected as I can to them, while still having my practices. I have my clarinet that, I just try to touch it every day a little bit. I've just started, but it's just something that brings joy to me. I'm teaching contact and impro, um, and I have my practice. And I have my practice.
Wow. Wow.
I'm pretty busy with all of those things. Soon there's gonna be 4 kids.
When are the twins? Are they gonna be born around autumn? Is
Um,
that
August is the middle of August is the due date, but with twins they might come early. So we will see, maybe end of July, beginning of August.
wow? Exciting and
Yes.
how um um wow. I'm only child, so I can't even picture like beyond two. But has that um this might be really silly question, but has that shifted your practice? Like because obviously you
It, it,
became a
it
father
has,
of one,
it,
then became father of two. That
yeah.
shift, and now expecting being a father of four. Um,
Well, it has disturbed my practice in the best way possible. It makes me have to find it in the moment more and more and more. I need to find, when I'm sitting at the table with the dinner, I have to find my body. When I'm putting the girls to sleep in the evening, which is becoming more and more on me now these evenings, then I have to find my body. If I'm playing with the girls outside, I need to find my body. So I'm constantly uh, reminded to the fact that I have a body, that I practice is actually from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep.
mm,
Uh, Not in an effort kind of way, but just kind of reducing, dropping into the body, feeling what's there, dropping into the body, feeling what's there, feeling the tensions. Even as I sit now, there's moments where I can say, okay, oh, I can drop something.
yeah.
Just at any moment, because I don't have that luxury of time that I had before to roll around on the floor for hours in the morning and go teach a class and come back and do some stretching. That doesn't exist, right? Which is fine, but it's teaching me to be in the body uh, as life happens,
Mm,
and not to have to design a time for myself. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah,
Ah, beautiful.
yeah.
Um, is there is there anything else you wish to share? I just want to be mindful of time, but yeah.
Um, no, always in the moment things come up and they're the right things.
Right.
I really try to follow Ilan in that, in his footsteps in this kind of way, because the things that come up in the moment, there's no way to prepare. Preparations also could really just disturb.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I'm good. I also kind of feel the family there
Ah,
waiting for me to get out of the room. So
I see.
that's
Please stop.
I
Everybody.
will. I will.
And before we wrap, where people can find you?
People can find me on my Instagram.
This
Um,
link, this page.
yeah, this Instagram, ILM dot The Hague.
Hey.
Um, you can find on my website, which is ilanlevmethod.nl. That's the website for treatments.
Cool.
On my Instagram, I will be posting more and more videos with ideas for movement.
Ah,
I have had this plan for a long time, but I think that slowly I will actually start to do it. uh, because I want to share more. I want to share more these things, and I will also be opening a WhatsApp group for people that want to just follow practices that I offer.
Wow,
Once it's
amazing.
there, I'll put it on my Instagram also.
And the treatment is in The Hague,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. The treatments are in The Hague.
The
Yeah,
Hague. Ah, someday I would
yeah.
love to do. Hopefully
Yes.
soon.
Welcome, welcome. Next time you're in Europe, pass through. I know
Yes, we'll love
last
that.
time we tried to do it and it didn't work out.
Mm.
Because we were a bit overwhelmed with also just coming back. But next time you come, we will make it happen.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for this time,
You're
Adi.
welcome.
It was so
Thank you, Sahara. It's great to have these conversations. I'm very happy. Thank you
well, talk
for doing
soon.
this series. I think that this is very beneficial for the whole community.
Ah,
Really,
I,
I appreciate it in the name of the whole community. Not that I have any say for the whole community, but I'm sure that the whole community appreciates what you're doing.
thank you. I mean, I feel happy that people are open to join.
Yeah,
So thank you for saying yes. Because
it's
otherwise, it's
great that you bring out your curiosity into the world because it feeds everybody else.
mm,
The fact that you allow your curiosity to ask the questions from anybody of the practitioners, it feeds the whole community and anybody else that might be watching. So thank you.
well, I guess it's your evening now.
Uh, Now it's 4:30. We're gonna go have a little moment in the playground, and then we will have dinner and put the girls to sleep.
Okay. Enjoy the play then.
Okay, thank
More play.
you. Yes,
Okay. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye bye.